Good day. This is Dr. Anastasia Jagadevi Jagadisan, and today I'm going to be addressing a very serious topic, which is unfortunately counselors with clients who complete suicide. Now, I have been rather blessed by God in my many years of practice through many suicidal clients. Somehow, none of my clients completed suicide while they were under my care. That is to be said, I've supervised counselors who've had clients who completed suicide, and I've had a number of individuals whose client completed suicide contacted me after the fact for consultation. So I'm going to share what is important to address when you have a client that has completed suicide and somebody approaches you. The first thing we need to address is professionalism. So the first thing I do is I assess what they did with the client, and based on my, and this is just my professional judgment, whether I would be willing to support the counselor to say, yes, the counselor did do due diligence, the counselor was ethical within the boundaries of what a counselor is supposed to do, the counselor did their job. And if I'm very happy with what the counselor say, or if I'm satisfied with what the counselor say, I will go ahead and say, professionally, you did the right thing. Okay, you did within due diligence what you needed to do. We are not magicians. If a client chooses not to talk about suicide, we cannot force the topic. We can ask, and if they say no, we have to accept the no. That's one of the difficulties of being counselors with suicidal clients. Now, the second thing I will do is make sure the counselor is the family of the clients contacting the counselor. Now, if they are, the counselor and the organization the counselor is from needs to ensure that they protect themselves. So reports need to be written, reports need to be vetted. What can you say, what can't you say within confidentiality? Of course, when a client has passed away, confidentiality becomes a little bit more complicated. So things must be done in a proper manner with black and white. You still cannot release information without black and white. Please be aware of that. Do not, oh, someone has died, so now anybody that calls, I can tell them what's what. No, you can't. You have to do what is right. You have to follow ethical procedures. And yes, I know the ethics on this is not clear. So what is the best ethics? The best ethics is, if family, they need to show evidence that they are family. They need to provide documentation and official letters. Okay, whether the letter has to come from a lawyer, that depends on your company, that depends on where you work, or the letter can come officially from a family member that is recognized. Then you can provide the information that they need. Of course, if you want to say, no, I will only provide the letter with a lawyer or judge's request, that's up to you as a counselor. But as far as I know, and I might be wrong, but as far as I know, in Malaysia, there are no legal proceedings that actually dictate what you're supposed to do when someone has died. So you must go with what you think is an ethical practice and what you think is a best practice. But please do not simply say anything to family members of clients, because you do not know what their intentions are. They could be looking for a smoking gun, and that smoking gun could be pointed in your direction if you're not careful. Because family members of those who are suicided can be very emotional, and they can be looking for something. All right. Finally, it's self-care. Make sure you're looking after yourself. Make sure you go and see your supervisor. Make sure you get therapy for yourself, because you can lie to yourself and say that you're fine, but you're not going to be fine. Okay? Anyone who witnesses, who is part of, who sees a suicide, most people, not anyone, maybe not 100%, but most people are affected by suicide. And as a counselor, you are definitely going to be affected by the suicide, and you need to ensure you get the proper support and the proper guidance to help you through that. So that's what you should do when you have a client who's suicidal. So I'm just going to summarize. When you have a client that is suicidal, there are three major things that need to be done. Firstly, you have to make sure that you do an assessment, so that I, as a counselor in the industry, am willing to say that yes, you did the right thing, and the counselor needs to hear that. Okay. Secondly, make sure that you know what to say to family members. Make sure you protect yourself and your organization ethically and legally. And third thing, make sure you have self care. Thank you for listening.